Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the new DC TV podcast from Melfuzz TV. You can tell I didn't practice an intro for that. I just kind of did it first time without thinking about it, and it was okay.
I mean,
I've had more train wrecks when it comes to openings.
that is true. I mean, you've said the completely wrong show before.
I have done. I've said the wrong name for you. Not that I've introduced you yet, but I've done that in the past. I've said I'm Peter, and there's Tim, Matt, Jim. No, Connor. It's Connor.
See, that's one of those things where because I have two brothers, I'm used to just people giving me the wrong name.
Okay, what's your brother's names?
No. Because then you'll just say those every time,
No, I
just to
won't.
annoy me. Yeah, you will.
I won't. I'm just curious.
Yeah, but I don't trust you not to use it against me.
I can probably find this out if I really want to.
You probably could, but you don't care enough.
I don't.
If I gave you the ammunition, you'd use it.
So what is this show? This is kind of an evolution. We do TV reviews on our YouTube channel here, Mailfuzz TV. Lots of shows get their own individual reviews, and that used to be the case for all these shows. We used to do reviews for Supergirl, Flash, Legends, and even Arrow every week. We did that the last couple of seasons. However, in an effort to kind of package them together to make it more of a show, but also because it was getting hard to get to them as quickly as we used to do because the schedule was getting a bit too tight, we have developed this new concoction, this new show, which lets us talk about them together. So we'll get always kind of similar. We'll talk about each episode, but we can also compare them a little bit. We can pick our favourite of the week at the end of the show and that kind of thing, which is a bit more fair because on our TV news show that we do once a week, we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week, but these typically never have a chance if something like Mr. Robot's on, so it's maybe nice that these get to just be picked amongst themselves.
Yeah, they get a second shot.
It's also worth mentioning, of course, if this is the first thing you're seeing from us, because you might have just stumbled onto this. The reason for the name Television from the Multiverse is because we do a DC Comics podcast called Comics from the Multiverse, in which me, Connor, also our friend Matt, we do every week, every Saturday, we talk about this week's DC Comics, and that goes up. And we've been doing that since the start of Rebirth, so the last episode that went up was episode 73, so we've been doing that a while.
And this being on a Sunday makes us just, it's a nice weekend pairing.
Yeah, DC weekend. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it'll always be on a Sunday. Depending if the schedule moves around, it might actually be easier someday for it to be an earlier day in the week. But just right now, Sunday's the best day for it, because the middle of the week is packed with TV and other things. So. Obviously, we are going to be covering Supergirl, we're going to be covering The Flash, we're going to be covering Legends of Tomorrow, all the premieres of those. We had announced that we were not going to cover Arrow any longer because we have not liked Arrow in a long time. I mean, I was never in love with it. You liked it more than I did for the first couple of seasons. But we despise Season 4 with an absolute passion. Season 5 had a couple of high points, but for the most part we were still kind of just going through the motions and not really being into it.
Basically, go back and watch the reviews, and just see how drunk I am.
Yeah, Connor got drunk for Arrow every week. That was his thing.
Yeah, very drunk.
So it was a really foolish review, if nothing else, because that was the only way we could get through it. Whereas because we have to watch it separately now, because we're sort of watching it through the week whenever we get a chance, and then doing this, the appeal of sitting with me and getting drunk and making fun of it just wasn't there anymore. So I actually was considering just watching the premiere to talk about it in this particular episode, but I conveniently forgot. So we're just going to talk about the three shows we actually want to talk about. Now, of course, future shows might come into it as well. We might talk about Black Lightning on here when that hits, and maybe even other things. If maybe Young Justice comes back and that kind of thing, we may even do that here too. We haven't really decided. The future is open. The future is open. It could be anything. It's not set. Fate is whatever we make. To quote Terminator, but it also seems to work because we're talking about Flash and he gets timey-wimey at times.
At times.
There are no rules. Speed Force, bro. Ain't going to explain shit. So, I guess we'll just tackle them in the order they aired. That makes the most sense, I think. So, We'll start with Supergirl. Obviously, there'll be spoilers for the episodes we're talking about, and obviously past seasons of things. That said, we'll try, until the end of the show when we're comparing them, we will make a point of not spoiling the other shows in case you just want to, you're watching just one part of it, maybe. If you're just listening to the Supergirl review, don't want to hear about Flash yet, because you've not watched that yet, we'll be considerate and not do that.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard. We don't have to bring it up that much. Whilst we're in each one. But anyway, so yeah, Supergirl season 3 premiere, episode 1. It's called Girl of Steel. I'm actually shocked it took them till season 3 to use that title.
It feels like an episode 1 title, doesn't it?
It does. Last year was The Adventures of Supergirl. What was this? It was just pilot, wasn't it?
It must have been just pilot.
Yeah, because our season finale maybe. I could see the season 1 finale being called Girl of Steel.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So we've kept it till now. So she's dealing with the loss of Mon-El.
I've never groaned more than when it opens with Mon-El.
That was a bad sign at the start when we had to put up with this Mon-El dream sequence. Now, luckily though, I actually think the rest of the episode was, barring one or two moments early on, one of its strongest episodes. I don't know if you agree with that.
I'd say it's definitely a strong episode. I had some concerns about the season as a whole based on what was happening.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a different kettle of fish.
But just as an individual episode, I thought it was very strong.
Yeah, because I think the opening chunks were varied from fine to some fun moments, so this is basically like the season 2 premiere of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Buffy...
Oh, look at that. It took a whole of 6 or 7 minutes for him to get to this.
Because in the season 2 opening of Buffy, when she was bad, she's like so distraught from the events at the end of season 1 that she's basically in bitch mode. And that's...
Why do you get to spoil Buffy all the time?
It's a good question. I mean, to be fair, it's 20 years old.
You're like, no, it doesn't matter if a movie's 60 years old. You still shouldn't spoil it.
You're true. But to be fair, I didn't spoil what the events were. I just said she's in bitch mode for the start of the season 1.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, last time we talked about Buffy and I brought up an episode from season 5, I specifically dodged spoilers like the plague.
You did on that specific one, yeah. But a lot of the time, you'll just throw things around.
Not meaty things. Like I'm very self-aware of what is proper spoilers. Very self-aware.
Let's be honest though, who hasn't watched Buffy?
Can I make my point? Can I make the point I was trying to make?
Alright, fine, I suppose.
So Buffy was in a very sort of bad place and she was kind of acting bitchy. It wasn't the exact same as this, but it's kind of the same thing here where Kara is like, she's neglecting her actual day job, she's neglecting all those things, she's just kind of throwing herself into being Supergirl, and she's being kind of moody. I did laugh a lot at the, when Wynn and Jean are like standing around with Alex, like, oh, she's acting like you. She's acting like Alex. It's like, I don't act like that. Like, yeah, you kind of do. And Alex is just standing there dealing with that statement. I thought that was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, it was.
That was pretty good. But for me, where this episode turned up, because obviously it was introducing new things. It was introducing, I can't say Talbot, because that's his name on S.H.I.E.L.D. Edge.
Morgan Edge.
There you go, Edge. That's it. How can I forget Edge? Edge is such a good name.
That's what I mean. And classic character.
He's Adrian Pasdar, basically. I know him from Near Dark first. Like, I seen him in Near Dark years ago before I saw him in any TV shows.
Yeah, I think I first saw him with Heroes, I guess.
Yeah, I saw him in that as well. But I saw Near Dark even before that. Like,
yeah, but even that was a good while ago now.
It was, yeah. Lets you know how long ago I've been watching horror movies, basically. But he's like kind of the new Lex Luthor-esque villain that we're going to have this season. So we're introduced to him. Lena's involved with, even Jimmy's there because the Catco is kind of involved in the whole thing.
And give Jimmy something to do.
Yeah, Jimmy actually has things to do in this episode, although not all of them are particularly great, but we'll talk about that. But for me, the moment where this episode went, oh, actually, this is really good. Like, I was almost, I'm enjoying it well enough so far, but it's not hitting any like big notes for me. It was when it hit the scene where Alex confronts Kara in the apartment, because I don't think I was prepared for how good that scene was going to be.
No, that's fair. It was a great scene.
It was a great scene. The music coming in. I think the moment where I realised, oh shit, this is actually good. This is like great good. Like, I'm impressed with what they're doing here. And this is coming, after season 2, where there was a lot of scenes, particularly with Mon-El and like all of his stuff, where it was so poorly written. That whereas this here, and a lot of this is the actors. Like, the actors here, they're really picking up the weight of what's going on. But it's when she shouts at her. It's when she like, there was a robbery or something like Kara says, and she's like, there's always a robbery, and like Alex shouts it back at her, and it sounds like no, she's pissed.
Yeah.
And it felt real. And then the entire scene from there, as the music's playing, and it's basically Alex trying to convince her to, like, you know, come back down to earth and be like, you're Kara, this means something to you, you're a person, you can't just throw everything away. Like, that entire scene I thought was fantastic.
Oh, it was, yeah. Yeah, the way I wrote it in my notes is Kara quits being Kara.
Yes.
Like she just, you know, she just thinks Supergirl full time. Let's forget about being a person.
Which is funny, because it's kind of the opposite of, like, say, Spider-Man No More, where he gives up being Spider-Man to be Peter. Instead,
Yeah.
it's the opposite.
Yeah, it is.
Because that makes her feel stronger, because it's the powerful version. It's the version she feels that she can't screw up as much at this point. So it makes some sense. So I really like that scene a lot. And then, so they're having this unveiling of a statue for Supergirl at the waterfront. And, by the way, it looked much better than that stupid Black Canary statue we got last season on Arrow. I was pointing that out, first of all.
I'll be honest, I can't really remember what it looks like. I was way too drunk to actually remember that.
We were making fun of it.
I remember making fun of it, but
Yeah.
I was way too drunk to think about what it actually looks
So
like.
I was actually a little bit worried when they were about to unveil it. I'm like, oh god, is this going to look as bad as that? And I was like, oh, that's okay. I mean, it's not the best effect ever, but it looks okay. Like,
Yeah,
looks fine.
it's fine.
But they're worried that there's going to be an attempt, and, you know, we know that Morgan Edge is behind the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's the seeded one behind it. He's, like, pulling the strings, and he's wanting all this to happen because it's actually almost a Lex Luthor plot. He wants the property front, so it's all about the property.
It is, isn't it?
That's all it is. He wants to build these buildings and own the land. That's all it is. But he so there's an attack, and it's in the form of a submarine, which is pretty cool. But it leads to some great moments. You know, Supergirl has a heart-to-heart with Jean, and she gets really kind of upset because she's kind of bonding with him over, you know, your entire planet's dead. You remember your wife and your child, and, like, how's that? And I thought that was an emotional, pretty good scene. Again, the actors kind of elevated it. But all of the action, like Supergirl, everything underwater, with her flying underwater to get to the sub and stopping the torpedoes. The music there was great, and then the anger theme kicked in. You know, I call it the anger theme feels wrong now, because it's kind of turned into the big heroic moment theme. You know, when it's a struggle.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because the classic heroic theme was not present in the episode.
It wasn't, as was the, you know, my name is Kara Danvers, I am from Krypton, blah blah. You know, that whole monologue at the start was missing, as it was from all of these shows.
Yeah, which is they've been so consistent since. I mean, was that at the very start of Arrow? Must have been early.
I think so. Yeah, my name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years,
If it wasn't at the very start, it was very early in that show. So it feels strange to drop that.
It's it feels like, you know, they've made a choice across the board. We're dropping that thing.
Yeah.
They've all got new logos as well. Supergirl's looks quite good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's got sort of smoke in it. It's got a different kind of feel to it. Different music plays. Flashy's still got his theme and all that, but the logo's got a bit more of a momentum to it. It's got like a bit more of a sort of spinny.
I like the new lightning effect that they've added. They've changed it. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, Legends is actually pretty much the same logo, but it still lost the opening spiel. But yeah, so that's it was a shame for Legends, actually, because, you know, they made fun of it. You know, with Mick, and he's like, we're kind of heroes. I like to steal things. This is stupid. Why haven't you figured this out yet? It's a TV show.
He might as well have said that.
Yeah, it was along those lines. It was very meta and, like,
Yeah, it was.
But, like, no, this moment, picking up the sub, fantastic moment. Like, you know, the music kicked in. She's like, and it felt like a proper heroic moment because she made the choice to go and be the hero again. As you do. So, no, so I think all these moments built up to really make a great episode for me. Like, I was really into this one. But that was kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit worried going in, because as much as I enjoyed a lot of things in season 2, there was a lot of it that were worrisome, because I really didn't like Mon-El. I didn't like that relationship.
There were large chunks that were not bad, but not good either.
Do you remember when we got to that episode with the refugees in the ship, and she had to stop it?
Suddenly we were like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, that was basically when we said, oh, this is why we love Supergirl. We'd forgotten how this felt. Because it's been away for a few months, that's kind of what I felt like in this episode, when I got these scenes of the submarine, the underwater, and even the Kara Alex confrontation scene. Like, you know, I actually care about these characters, and Mon-El not being around, great. And even, Joe, I thought was really well done, is as they were all talking over the mic to help Supergirl, the camera, like, it was spinning around the table, and wind was jumping in. It was cutting between a lot of the different characters during the action scene a lot more, and it felt like it had a little more of an energy to it. Then speaking of the mic, another funny moment that I loved is when Alex and Maggie are sort of like making up over the comms, and they have this little heart to heart. Yeah, I still want to marry you, and it was all this. And then it just cuts to winning the DEO. It's like, you guys are my favorite couple. And they're like, shut up, Win, hang up.
I forgot how much I love Win. There's so many moments in this that just small moments, like I think it's Alex talking with Jean. They talk about going out for drinks, and it's like first round's on me. It's like, well, yeah, it wasn't going to be Win, was it? Just the idea that Win's really tight and never pays his round.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. This show, more than even the others, is like the group of characters do all kind of feel intertwined with each other now, which is kind of weird because I think in season 1 it was, oh, she's got a secret identity the others don't know about her, and then in season 2 it was almost a little bit forced that everyone basically is in on it and they all work at the DEO now, but it's kind of transformed into this nice work relationship where everyone goes to the bar together afterwards, but
it kind of makes Jimmy feel even more like the odd one out because he doesn't really feel entwined in the same way that the others do.
No, he goes to the. I mean, he hangs out with them. He goes to the bar and stuff.
He still feels separate, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, I think they may have more for him to do this season because Catco seems to be more of a factor. But we'll see how that plays. I do think he was a bit of a douche though with the signal watch in this one, where he calls Cat. He wants to confront her about her, leaving her work, and that's when she quits. But it was like, well, you rang the signal watch to have a conversation, like. Not cool, man. Not cool.
No, I mean, I get it. She's going, oh, it's an emergency, and he's like, yeah, this is an emergency. It's just it's an emergency about you.
Yeah. I liked. Yeah, I mean, I liked the boardroom stuff a little bit with him and Lena. Although Lena's accent was a little bit more fishier than usual, I thought.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been slowly transforming from her attempt at an American accent to this weird mix of her real accent and the American accent, and it's almost starting to sound really like, you know what, just make up some stupid sci-fi excuse for why she's got an English accent now and just go with it, because it's getting distracting.
No, I know what you're saying, but I actually really liked all the Lena stuff in this episode.
Oh yeah, it was fine. Like her basically, standing up to, I almost said Talbot there, standing up to Edge, and then just like, oh yeah, by the way, Kara, bestie, I bought Catco for you.
Yeah, I really like their relationship a lot. It's a lot of fun.
It's so weird. I think when it first started, and I was just convinced she was going to turn out to be evil by the end of the season. I was thought, okay, it's just going that way. And now that it's not, and she's still I'm still kind of half expecting her to be evil at some point.
Yeah, but I've kind of settled into maybe not.
It's weird because it's a completely new relationship. At least as far as I know, there's never been a Kara Lena Luthor pairing.
Not to my knowledge.
No, it's just a relatively new thing, but it's working well enough. They have chemistry. Almost too much chemistry at times.
Yeah, they have lots of chemistry.
Lots of chemistry. Sometimes,
yeah, like the moments where she's like, "Yo, I missed you."
Yeah, do you know what it is? There's these moments where Lena will bite her lip at her, and it's just like, okay, what, like, did you forget you weren't doing the porn parody? Is that what you forgot there?
I get why there are shippers of these pair, just based on the on-screen chemistry. Like, these two have more chemistry than Kara has with pretty much any of her partners in the show.
Yeah, I'm still rooting more for her and Win more than anything. I think seems like a lost cause at this point. But
I feel like that ship sailed, but I think they have the most chemistry in that sense.
They do. She had more chemistry with him than Jimmy or Monel or
any of the other nameless people that we've forgotten.
Yes, yeah. Her husband was on an episode in season 1, and I amusingly said, they have no chemistry, this is unbelievable, and then found out they were married, and I thought, oh, that's funny. And then
they split up like 3 months later.
Then they split up, and I thought, oh, maybe I've got an eye for this. And then she started dating the actor who plays Monel, and I thought, you also have no chemistry with him. I give it a year.
Yep, got a few months left on that prediction yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care when it happens, but I know I'm right. I know I'm right. No chemistry, but no. So all that stuff was pretty good. All the small moments I liked. I liked that after the dream at the start, which we've not really spoken about that yet, but we had she's just sort of floating in the sky, listening for trouble, and I liked that scene. It was a very sort of classic kind of Superman-esque moment of just floating up there and listening, and you very rarely get to see her just doing that. Like, she'll fly by really quick or she'll fly somewhere, but this was just kind of just tranquil in the sky, listening to the noise of the city. It was just kind of a classic moment. I like that. Did you want to talk about potential villains and whatnot?
Yeah, we can do. Before we get into some of the more nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, do you want to talk about? So we have this mother with her child who, the girl's a Supergirl fan and she gets like a photo or whatever, and she gets trapped, and then the mother turns out to have super strength, and she doesn't seem to know she has super strength. She's kind of surprised that when she moves the big steel barricade thing.
Yeah, I have to call out the effects at this little bit. Like usually they look pretty good, but the kid did not look trapped at all.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's like, oh, it's a kid. They're being really careful and restrictions. I understand, but it just didn't look convincing in the slightest.
They're more disposable. It's fine.
Okay.
If you kill the kid by accident, just get another kid that looks like them. It's fine. Nobody will notice.
No, it's true. Who's going to notice? In the audience, that is.
No children were harmed in the making of this. That's not true.
It's rare you see that. I think which tells me that there are often children.
Yeah, they always specify with the animals. No animals were harmed in the making of this movie, but you never hear about the children.
Yeah, it's very telling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so
she's got super strength, and she had no idea.
Yeah, and she wakes up from a dream later on. So you assume that she was the baby that was sent. She's Rain, which I think we know because I think when the cast had said, "Oh, this is Rain."
I think I'd forgotten because when she has that big moment with Alex before all this, I was like, why are we spending so much time on this random woman?
Yeah, because I thought it was just going to be so we cared about the kid. Because when the kid was trapped, I thought, okay, so we cared about the kid, and there's context for someone in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the actress they hired for Rain.
Yeah, I did the same. I was like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, so no, it works. So we have that. And obviously we have Edge, whose Supergirl flies out to a ship, big,
shipping yard.
No, that's not even a yard, it's a ship. It's on a ship.
It's on the ship.
It's the shipping crates on the ship. It's a big, it's a big one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's one of these
I remember all the crates.
Yeah, no, because she flies away, and it's because at first you think, oh, she's taking him to the docks or whatever, like near, right? But no, it's like she flies away, and he's on a ship to who knows where. he's
just yelling, "Are you gonna come and take me off here?"
He's on his way to India or something. He's gonna have to get a flight back. So he's pissed
he can afford it.
I'm sure he can. It's just, but how pissed would you be? Like, understandably so.
Yep.
So he's pissed. So he's going to be like a Lex Luthor-esque. We've got Rain, who's going to be our other villain. And I'm hoping that these stupid dreams are not the hints that Mon-El will be returning, because I really could do without never seeing the bastard again.
Yeah, please. I really don't need that at all.
What were your worries then? What were your nitpicks?
So some of the worries is, do you remember how we felt about Flash last year, where kind of we got about I think it was pretty much when we hit the musical episode, and we realised, do you know what? Flash hasn't actually been fun this year. I got so caught up in its plot that it forgot that it was actually a fun show. And when it had a fun episode, nothing to do with anything, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. Flash was fun.
I think I would counter that, though, by saying that this episode kind of wrapped that up at the end.
Well, no, it did. That's what I was saying. When I was watching it, I was kind of like, I was watching it with... I was enjoying it, but I was concerned that, is it going to go this way again? Am I going to feel this way? But and then I got to the end of the episode, I was like, okay, I think I'm safe.
And honestly, like I said, one of my favourite scenes was Alex confronting her about her attitude, and it was kind of... It was well done. Like, last season on Flash, I think... Whenever, they were confronting him about, or he was fighting with Cisco about killing his brother, lol. Yeah. All of that stuff, it felt kind of like it wasn't good drama. Whereas in this episode, at least, they actually handled it well. Like that scene with them fighting was good.
They did, and like I said, this is why I was really conflicted, because I was like, this is really good. I'm really enjoying what it's doing. I think it's really well done. But there was just in the back of my mind, I was going, but is it going to be this for too long? Am I going to lose the fun?
Nah, and I think they actually had a really nice moment at the end when she decides, no, I'll see you tomorrow for lunch, Lena, and then you see her walking into the bar when everyone's like smiling and laughing and whatnot. Yeah,
and then they all have shots.
Also, I like that she knew something was wrong with Kara, because even pot stickers didn't get her to come to the food tasting for the wedding.
Yeah.
So Dervs. But I love how hors d'oeuvres sounds much more fancy, but then when you actually just say, oh, it's pigs in blankets and pot stickers and those kind of things. And obviously that's what most people would normally have, but hors d'oeuvres sounds like you're serving some, I don't know.
Sounds fancy, doesn't it?
Yeah, escargot and your French delicacies. But
Yeah, nice.
I think Kara would be into those. I think Kara just wants some simple, greasy.
She wants pizza.
Yeah, she wants pizza.
Yeah,
I suppose she's
yeah.
likable. She's relatable.
Pizza and donuts and chicken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so one of my other problems is early on the stuff with Alex and Maggie. You know, where she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure I want to get married."
Oh no,
It
I
felt
agree.
like it was just drama for the sake of it.
I agree with that. I had that concern when she had that moment where she's like, "Oh, you don't want to marry me anymore." Like I was like, "Oh, really? Are we doing this? This feels weird to force in here."
Yeah,
When they resolved it later on and she gave a reason for it, I was like, "Okay, I still don't like it, but I'm at least glad it's not doubts about the wedding because that's what I was worried it was at first."
yeah, and even though it's like, yeah, there's a reason, but because it was resolved so quickly, I felt, why is this even here?
I didn't need it.
Especially in this first episode,
Yeah.
it was like, what's this doing?
I do like it's because she doesn't have the dad to walk her down the aisle. I like.
And
That's
that
an
leads
okay
to
idea.
the great moment with Jean at the end.
It did, and again, that was another scene where the acting really elevated. Well, otherwise might have felt like just a typical TV drama scene.
Yeah, I think like two of my favorite quotes in the episode were that, where she's like, stop, don't cry. If you cry, I'll cry. And then everyone here will know that we can cry.
That was a great line. That was a great line.
And then here's, do I have to wear a tux? And she's like, well, I'm wearing Kevlar and boots, so...
Good lines. Also, I liked earlier on when Alex was saying to Kara, "We're going to have the biggest, gayest wedding in the city."
yeah, that's it. The biggest, gayest wedding National City has ever seen.
So no, I like. Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think the drama between them in this episode was kind of just there to have drama, even though it did lead to my when listening in on them joke, which I did love a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't beat. It was only 2 scenes, so it's not like.
Yeah. It was like, why in this episode? Like, if you're gonna do that, that should have been at least episode 2. And it was
That's
more
fair.
just to,
Especially since like Alex already had concerns about what was going on with Kara, and those scenes were really good. So it is kind of weird that they
it
felt
highlighted it more, didn't it?
to give her other drama that was just kind of there to have another scenes. Whereas maybe those scenes could have been better spent doing something else. I don't know.
Yeah. One moment that really cracked me up that I don't think was intentional is, when they get the device that was to do with the submarine, and I think I can't remember if it's Jean or Wynn that says, that's a high pressure regulator, and if you look at the screen behind them, there's just a picture of it, and it says high pressure regulator. It's like it's in the you don't need to say it like it was a big deal. It was there. Everyone can see it.
I never noticed that, but that's fair.
It cracked me up.
That's fair. No, I dug this episode a lot actually.
Yeah.
Like I say, there was the Maggie Alex stuff early on was a little bit flimsy. I wasn't a big fan of the dream sequence where she sees her mother, which yes, it's the actress from Smallville that played Lois, Erica Durance.
I like her. I mean, I have no judgment on
she's
her
fine.
in this as of yet.
Yeah, she was fine. Like she wasn't why I didn't like Smallville, but just
Yeah, no, that's fair. I like what they did with Kat. Because
she's on TV.
Like, okay, we got
yeah,
a better reason for her being gone than last year.
Yeah, she's now the press secretary for the White House or the president,
Yeah.
and I feel like they've maybe just they're going to record these really late every time because they can just kind of slot them in because they're just little inserts, and I feel like they're going to always make
them as relevant as possible.
Because this was, of course, our president believes in climate change. She's not an idiot.
Yeah.
It was so on the nose, but I kind of appreciate it for that. I'll tell you who didn't see this, and I hope he's still here around, is Snapper Carr. I hope he's not...
Yeah, I was just about to get to that, because I was a little concerned, because we got a lot of stuff at Catco compared to what we can get.
Yeah.
Catco was a big part of it, and there was not even a mention of it.
Honestly, I think merging Catco with Lena is actually a really good idea.
Yeah, it integrates it a bit nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a really good... Even if we don't get any more than we did last season of Kara doing reporting, because I don't really mind that so much, but just the idea of making it feel a bit more integral to what's going on, and, even if it's just a simple case of she visits Lena at Catco, so she's there for that reason.
Yeah, just
kind of thing.
Just cuts down on the sets that they need as well, doesn't it?
Exactly. Which they may not do, but it's in theory it should nicely merge things a little bit. So that's pretty cool. But no, I was really happy with this episode for the most part. Like I say, a couple of little things, but by the time it hit that confrontation scene and then all the sub stuff, I really liked. And then the actual ending of her coming back to the group. It was kind of touching. It really worked. I'm into these characters. I missed them all immensely over the break. And having them there without Mon-El to ruin it, even better.
Oh, so nice, yeah. And I thought it was interesting. I got to the end, I was like, oh, there was a co-composer along with Blake Neely.
Yeah, and the music was really good in this episode. which
It
is
was,
mentioned.
but I did have some technical problems with it from on a mix aspect.
Oh, here we go. Here's
Just
the
some
audio
things
nerd is
that
coming out.
were just placed weirdly. Like there was I can't remember where it was. I wrote it down in my notes though. Just there was some violins that were just in the wrong place and they were just turned up too loud for what they should have been. And it was just things like that, just on a technical level that just I've never had before on this show.
Okay. I'll keep
And
that
that was
there.
I wrote that down before I realised there was a co-composer.
Fair point made. I will leave that there though, because I feel like most
Yeah.
people won't.
They won't. It was just something that I
Yeah.
really noticed. I thought, oh, okay. And then when I got to the end and saw that, I was like, ah, okay, maybe that explains it.
Yeah, yeah. But no, so I did like the music. I liked the sort of darker touch to it that wasn't as maybe heroic, but it was still emotional. It still had moments of levity, but it wasn't
And,
the fanfare that usually played.
and yeah, I liked specific. I don't want that gone completely, but I liked that being gone in this episode while Kara was kind of gone.
Yeah, but I am all for that struggling theme that plays when she's doing something big like that. The sub,
Because it's so good.
it's so good. It always plays to the moment really well. It's nice and emotional. I always like an emotional hero theme, perhaps more than just the obvious fanfare one.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Flash theme. The Flash theme is always good, but when it's the emotional version of the piano, that always hits me just a little bit more.
It does, doesn't it? Because it always plays in the bigger moments as well, so it hits doubly so because the stuff on the screen's backing it up.
All right, we'll leave Supergirl for now. I'll just reiterate, I hope Mon-El doesn't come back. And if he does, I hope it's like a guest star and roll for an episode so he can die or something. I don't know, whatever.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But remember, they made the Earth uninhabitable for Daxians.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but this is network TV. They'll find a way around it if
I
they want to.
know, but
Win will just invent something for him.
all right. Let's go into Flash then. Talk about Flash. Flash episode 1, season 4 is The Flash Reborn. Why didn't you use Rebirth instead of Reborn? I don't know, but
Yeah, that seems strange.
yeah, you've got a DC term that they use in the comics. Why not use that? But whatevs. So this was more of a mixed bag of an
Yeah.
episode. There was a lot of things I liked about it, but there was definitely things that I didn't like about it, and some of it was also. It was kind of like predictable in what I didn't like about it, the things that it did wrong. And by that I mean wrapping up the cliffhanger from last season far too quick. Because there was a time in this episode, but so they get Barry back at one point, and he's he's crazy.
Do you know what? I counted when he came back because I was like, really, already, like at least Flashpoint for all the inconsequential nature of it. At least they did an episode or two dedicated to it.
Well, this is the thing. I was okay with him being back the way he was, where he was kind of crazy and kind of useless, basically, to the team.
No, okay.
Because I thought, oh, maybe they'll keep him like that for a few episodes, and it'll take a bit of time to get him back, and that'll, we can build that. And then they had him, back to normal in his new suit by the end of the episode.
And not just normal, but he's faster than ever.
He's faster than ever. That's right. That did make my eyes roll a little bit. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Because it wasn't even just he's faster than ever. It's he's faster than any speedster ever. Like, he's faster than Thawne and Zoom and Wally. Like, he's faster than everyone right now. Okay, whatever.
All right, Nerf incoming.
Possibly. But there was things I liked. I like, obviously, Team Kid Flash, that running joke was, I think the humour was mostly spot on, actually.
Yeah, I'll have to give it that.
Team Kid Flash and them being like, that's not her name, like, especially at the end when they said it in front of Barry and every single one of them in unison, that's not her name.
Too many syllables.
Yeah, that was pretty amusing. I was really impressed. Now, the second time I wasn't, because he'd already done because the second time he made a Kurosawa reference, it was really obvious because he just said,
but the first one was good.
But the first one where he called the guy Mifune, I was like, whoa, that was a good reference, Cisco.
Well, I was as well. I was like, I'm used to Cisco having a lot of really obvious references and then the occasional really good one. I was like, oh, that was a nice one.
That was a good one. That's a reference to the actor who was the samurai in a lot of Akira Kurosawa's samurai movies, in case you didn't get it. But that was
Which I think is
cool
why
reference.
they did the obvious Kurosawa one afterwards. It's just because, hang on, that might have gone over a lot of people's heads. Let's do a more obvious one as well for everyone else.
I'm glad they did it that way around, though, because I feel... That's to be fair, though. I think Kurosawa, even for a modern, teenage audience especially, do you think they know who Kurosawa is?
That's fair.
But, I like they did it this way around, because I feel like if they'd already done the Kurosawa one, I wouldn't have been as impressed with the Mifune. But when they said Mifune first, I was like, whoa, that was...
Yeah, and it was more contextual as well, because he was calling the samurai.
Yeah.
So it worked.
It was, yeah. There's a robot samurai in this episode.
I was almost disappointed that it was just dealt with.
Yeah, although it's kind of part of the main villain rather
It
than
is,
its own thing. So
and I was theorizing that it wasn't part of the villain. I was theorizing that it was actually them from the future because it has that moment where it says, "Oh, welcome back, Flash," and it's like, and it almost felt like, "Oh, they've sent this from the future so that they can get, because that's this is essentially what spurs them into action to get Barry back."
yeah, I kind of I'm okay with that idea. The idea that we have the Thinker setting this up because he wants to flash back is okay. We see him at the end of the episode, of course. He looks kind of
Yes, and he says he's thinking.
he's a bit cheesy looking.
Yeah,
Very cheesy looking. I'll give it that. What I did like about this episode, though, I did like that for the first chunk of it, before we even had Barry back at all, is that Iris was the main character, and I kind of
she's the one giving the monologue at the start.
yeah, and it wasn't the same monologue. It was like just a little bit of the monologue. 'Cause
Yeah.
it feels like they're moving away from it if they are from all the shows, but they wanted to have that just
But
because.
I think it was a very nice touch to have it some version of it from her because it set up that no, she's our focal point.
It was a contrast, and we followed her home, and she sat down, and she was upset about Barry being gone, and it was kind of like this is nice, like, and this is kind of why I'm almost disappointed we didn't get like a few episodes of, the other characters, like, because it's funny for ensemble shows that these DC CW shows are, they very rarely actually give other characters their episodes to really shine, because like I feel like a lot of other TV shows will do that, well they'll say, no, okay, right, so usually we have our main character, but it's okay if this is the Xander episode.
I knew you were going to do another Buffy reference. I knew it was coming.
It was the first one that came to mind. I didn't actually.
I know. As soon as you started talking about that, doing on so much, I was like, I know where you're going to go with this. I know what you're going to say.
I wasn't intentionally doing that to make the joke. I really wasn't.
All right.
I really wasn't. I just couldn't think of another example in my head. But because I was thinking the Zeppo and Buffy. When it just follows Xander, and he's the main character for the episode. Like I feel like, given you could, especially since you've got other hero characters, you've got Kid Flash. Like, can we not have an episode where it just follows him?
Especially when Barry's gone, like they could have had him gone for at least a couple of episodes and done something interesting with.
Have Iris have our episode because she's the leader and she's still kind of the leader of the group, which I do like that. It gives her more to do. I like that she's a bit more involved.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think my concern is it boils down to a problem with them bringing Barry back already. Is I didn't feel like we had enough time to delve into Iris's psyche. We were told, oh, she's covering this up. She's she's kind of in denial, but she's pretending she's not. But it's kind of brushed away in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because Barry's back.
Yeah, Barry coming back just kind of negates all of it. And it was actually kind of interesting, especially how she was like, no, don't try and bring him back. Like, we have to move on. Like, her having that opinion is kind of interesting. But again, it just kind of gets forgotten because he's back. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's things that it's like, okay, you've got some good ideas here, but they're just rushed. Because you give the entire arc of that in about 20 minutes. And it's like that could have gone over 3 episodes quite nicely and built it up.
Because when they actually get him back and he's all crazy and he's like writing on the walls and like, well, he might have actually experienced like thousands of years in the Speed Force. Like, it's not relative.
Yeah, it's, again, another interesting idea.
Yeah, also another thing I can compare it to a certain TV show if I wanted to, but I won't. Come on, it was a thing with the hell dimensions and the time
I
moved
know,
differently.
I remember, but...
But yeah, so like there's ideas there, and I thought, okay, maybe they'll keep him like this for a while, and they'll deal with the idea that he's been spending centuries, thousands of years in the Speed Force.
He's kind of broken.
Yeah, and it'll take time and snapping out of something to do it. Whereas Iris's big thing is, and I actually like this idea. This he'll come for me. Like, if I put myself in danger, if I'm the one that's in trouble, he will wake up and he will come. I actually like that kind of ultimatum in a weird. It's not an ultimatum to him as a person, but
it's forcing him to stand. But again, it's another one of those moments where I feel like it was too soon. Like,
yeah, at least
if they'd
episode 3,
all
maybe?
the other if Barry had been like this for a while and they exhausted all the other options of trying to get him back, they really didn't know what to do, and then she did this. This felt really sudden to just leap to it.
Yeah, like that's basically where I am on this. Where I like a lot of the ideas, but they rush through it because they need Barry back. For some reason, they feel like they need Barry. They don't actually. Like, I think they could happily go like 3, 4, 5 episodes without him, and it wouldn't be a big deal because you have another character.
They try telling us like, oh, hey, yeah, but we're losing 1 out of every 3 metas, so we need Barry.
They told us that, they didn't show us that.
That's what I said. They tried telling.
Yeah.
But we saw them catch everyone. That they showed us.
Yeah, not the Samurai did, obviously, because
but
they get beat.
That was different. But that was supposed to feel like, okay, maybe we do need Barry back now because this is a step above us. Yes. So I get that that's where they start considering it. But I don't know, it just felt rushed.
Also, no Harry was...
Yeah, it was mentioned.
It was mentioned. Obviously, we still only have Earth 2 Harry at this point, so I imagine there'll be a reason why he comes over, rather than giving us a fourth Wells.
Or just do it, and I won't even judge it.
How did they justify it when they got the last one killed? They can't. That's too stupid, even for this show.
They need someone to translate this house is bitching.
Yes. But all of Barry's crazy writing translates to this house is bitching. Which I love that after they got him back, because he runs out, he gets the new brighter suit, that we saw in the future, which, I like that suit better, so
it's a nice
that's nice. And they're out in the power lines, and it's a decent little action scene. I like that he jumps up and catches the flying samurai. It's fine.
Yeah.
Good action. Cool. Even Wally running through the streets trying to catch Peekaboo, which is nice. They brought a rogue back for one of these little scenes where it's like, we know her already. And she's like teleporting from the rooftops. That was fun. It was nice to see them like jumping. Even sure the CG looked obvious. Don't get me wrong, but it was fun.
I mean, no more than usual.
Yeah. But after all this has happened, they're sitting there. And Cisco's like, by the way, does the phrase "this house is bitchin'" mean anything to you? He's like, not really.
I really want that to be a running mystery. Like that actually means something. I mean, part of me is like, nah, it's just a joke. But I hope it means something.
Maybe they'll buy a new house when they're married or something. He'll walk in and go, "This house is bitching," and like, wait a minute.
Iris will just look at him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I guess it's something we said last season. As much as last season had a lot of problems, we did like how it actually gave Iris more of a character last season. And it felt like she actually was making choices, and she actually had her own like concerns and feelings. It wasn't just she's the love interest.
Yeah, and this has gone a lot further still with that.
Yeah, she feels that product, and making her the leader of the team and kind of calling the shots because Wells isn't there. Which,
again, it harkens back to what we actually saw in Flashpoint.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, they set that up, I guess. So that's fair to that. So that's good. I like that part.
Yeah, she was the MVP of the episode.
She was, and I don't think we'd have ever said that in season 1. So that's nice that's she's developed as a character to this point. So that's good. Yeah, because also I want to see how they get his job back next episode, because they bring up in this one that Joe's been. How you justify to a police captain that you're covered? Oh yeah, Barry went on a quick vacation seminar thing.
Yeah, he's on sabbatical.
Yeah, but he didn't like put any paperwork in. He didn't like tell his captain. He just did it, and Joe was like telling him about it
for 6 months.
And then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to let him hire someone. Like,
yes, because Julian went back to London.
He did, yeah. I thought we'd get an episode of him, like, to explain why he left, but no, he's just gone.
That's really disappointing, because I thought he was a really good addition to the group and the show as a whole.
Yeah, he's not bad.
And I understand, he's a high profile actor. He's got other things that he needs to do. I get it, but I feel like, okay, if they thought this was going to be the case, give him a send off last season.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the plan though. Maybe they thought they'd have him back, but then something came up.
Yeah, probably.
I'll tell you. So Cecile, Joe's love interest. I've been recently rewatching Third Rock from the Sun. Right?
She in that?
She's in that. She's one of Dick's students. She's always in the class. She's always at the front row. She's always the reasonable one, because he picks on Leon, who's played by his son. Which you can tell if you look at him. He looks like a Lithgow. And then there's the two goofballs who are always there. The one with the long hair and then the more normal looking guy. But she's always there. She's always the voice of reason, who's like sort of trying to say, no, Dick, Professor Solomon, this is unreasonable. And it was just, I was watching that again, and it was just like a few episodes into it, I'm like, she looks familiar. What's she been in? And then I'm like, holy shit, it's Cecile from The Flash, like 20 years ago. Man, so weird.
She doesn't really have much to do this episode.
She doesn't really have much to do, really. Typically,
So, no.
she's there for the plot reasons and for Joe's character, but she's not really
Pretty much.
a main character in of herself. Maybe she'll get some time to shine later. Maybe they'll do something
Maybe
with her. I don't know, but yeah. So that was the Flash.
I mean, how did we feel about Wally putting on the actual Flash suit?
you never really get a good chance to look at it because he was vibrating during it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit of a tease, especially since this felt like this could have been, again, if we had like a 4 episode arc where Barry was gone, like, no, they need a Flash, so he becomes the Flash and puts on that suit for the duration.
I think
of
that
the
would have
time.
been nice. Yeah.
And it's okay that he gives it up when he comes back, because once Barry's back, it's like, okay, fine. But it would have been a nice little bit of growth for him. Instead,
Yeah,
it
him
was,
having to step up. Instead, I get he feels like he is Kid Flash. He doesn't want to take the Flash from Barry because he's not mourned him yet either, which is again one of these things where if you maybe had gone through, they did accept Barry was gone and mourn him properly, then you could have him go, right, we need a Flash. And
yeah,
he
which
has
none
to
of them
step
do.
up and
Because,
fill that
by the way,
role.
the reason they get them out of the Speed Force, because now he has to be there, someone has to occupy that prison in the Speed Force. They basically shoot a ball with like Barry's pubes in it into the Speed Force to trick it into like the speedster DNA's in there. It's fine.
Pretty much.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Not entirely sure what they're doing with Caitlin this year either.
Oh yeah, Caitlin. Yeah, she's working at a bar, and Cisco goes and finds her, and she seems fine. It's like, okay, she was like half evil when she last left, from the funeral, but she seems fine. But she's got all ripped jeans on, and she's like, she's hot Caitlin now because the camera was constantly sort of lingering on her. There was one scene in particular. She comes in to talk to Cisco.
And
she
it just
and she
stares
walked
at her ass.
Yeah, she walked past the camera, and the camera's just like, the ass is the focal point. And I'm like, okay, I get it. We're doing sexy
Yeah,
Caitlyn this
yeah.
season, fine, but
Yeah.
she's in the ripped jeans, all sexy, like cool.
It was so blatant. It was cracking me up.
But yeah, so she's kind of a weird place. There's some sort of crime boss.
Yeah, it was really obvious. I don't know why Cisco didn't get it. When that guy comes up.
Yeah, so she's got something going on the side, but she's still going to come back to the lab. She still decided that she's with her friends.
And they're also doing a Hulk thing with her, I guess.
That's what I was. Yeah, it was a Hulk thing where she gets angry. She turns into Killer Frost. She freezes up.
She even says, you wouldn't like me when I'm frosty.
Yeah, she paraphrases the classic line.
And then she gets outside. She warms up, I guess. I don't know what the appropriate phrase for her switching on and off is. But she becomes Caitlyn again, and she goes, "Oh no, not again."
She melts. That's why they're trying to make her hot this season, because this one she's hot, and then when she's cold, she's cold.
Very good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. But I just thought it was like the whole thing is like, okay, so she's the Hulk now.
Very much.
Like that's it.
Honestly, I like that more than our thing last. At least so. I mean, maybe it'll be stupid the more we go, but I think I like that more right now than last season's Caitlyn plot. Because at least I understand this, and I understand the rules. Because last season it was so, oh yeah, when she's Killer Frost, she's evil for some reason, and she's trying to control it, and then they had the necklace or whatever, the bracelet to dampen it.
Yeah.
And it was just all kind of wishy-washy. And I'm glad, even though it is just kind of ripping off the Hulk, I'm glad that at least there's a core rule. She gets angry, she turns to ice, and that's what
I'm
happens.
okay with that side of things. It's more the mob.
Oh
side
yeah,
crap.
yeah.
I'm not feeling that.
Right, yeah, I'm not feeling that either. It feels like, again, she's got a secret so that later on everyone can find out about the secret and be angry at her.
Yes. Ooh, drama.
Yeah, drama's a thing. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Barry sped out of the containment cell, which is supposed to stop anyone from using powers. Or at least not stop using powers, but their powers won't work through it.
Oh yeah.
He breaks out. He just actually speeds out
I
of
think
it.
in my mind I just assumed Joe left it open for him because Joe was like, "You've got to go save her."
No, he smashes
did
through it. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
I guess it's another one of those moments of going, "Look how powerful Barry is now," until there's a random meta next week and he can't catch him.
We shall see.
I'm putting money on it.
It's funny. I'm so glad that we don't have a speedster villain, but right now I'm not entirely sure what to think of the Thinker so far.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's fine, but he hasn't done anything really. So I can't be against the Thinker.
Yeah, no, maybe it'll get more interesting next week or the more we see of him. But no. Looking forward to having Harry back. This was more of a mixed bag, even though I mean I was happy to see most of the characters again. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
give
one
it
of these
that.
things where I think I had a lot of problems with it as an episode, bring, all the things that we've talked about. But I like the setup for the season as a whole, I think.
Yeah, because
I like the new status quo.
it's very much Barry's as his rebirth, and it's almost like it's making a statement of like he's going to be happy again. He's going to try and be the hero and
Yeah.
again. That's kind of
And
the
we
vibe
got
you get at the
the
end.
team set up, and I like Iris in the lead. I like Caitlin being. I like that they're doing something with her because for the long time she's on the computer. She's reading she's just the technician.
Well, no. She also kills whoever she gets romantically involved with. That's a big thing.
That's true, but that wasn't intentional. She never had any control over that.
First it was Ronnie, and then it was Jay.
Yeah, but she never had any control over that. This, I feel like there's at least something, even if I don't know if I like it or not yet. It's doing something.
We'll see how it goes. Now here's a question: do you think Patty's going to show up at the wedding?
Oh God, I hope so. I miss Patty.
Or Patty? Aye. So there you go. That's Flash. We shall discuss, compare them as when we get to the end of the shows. But that takes us on to Legends of Tomorrow, season 1 of episode 3. It's called Aruba-Con, which I'm not gonna lie. Before I watched it, I was like, "What the hell's an Aruba-Con?" Like, because I was thinking, like,
I love like there's like multiple meanings once you get to the end of the episode.
yeah, like I was like, I didn't think of a convention in Aruba. That was not what my mind went to.
Yes, and then the Rubicon is the
Yeah.
river that Julius sees across.
I was
great
thinking,
stuff.
I was thinking a geometric shape of some kind.
Yeah, no, me too. But we should have known it was to do with Aruba, really, shouldn't we? Given that
We should
Nick
have.
loves Aruba.
Now, here's my short review of Legends of Tomorrow. Before we get into it, my short review. It's basically accepted that it's a live-action cartoon and doesn't give a shit about logic, even more so than last season. And because of that, it's the most fun it's ever been.
I love it. I think I saw a comment on Reddit earlier that sums it up best. It said, this show knows it jumped the shark, but instead of getting depressed about it, it took the shark and fought it and wrestled with it, and it's riding it and looking for a whale to jump. I'm like, that's kind of accurate.
Because there's actually logically there's a lot of things you can point at and go, this is stupid. Like so we complained that Flash dealt with his cliffhanger by the end of the episode from last season. This deals with it in the first 2 minutes, and it's out of nowhere. Like they're walking around this city that they've made, where all the buildings from all over the planet, there's dinosaurs. Which by the way, they're just walking through the street, even though there's T-Rexes stomping around, and they don't even care. And then Rip shows up through like a time portal. He's like, "Yes, It's been 2 minutes for you, but it's been 5 years for me, and I've set up the Time Bureau. I've got agents. You are now retired because we have no need for the Legends anymore." And that's like, okay, I guess that was the end of last season's cliffhanger dealt with.
See, this is the thing. The difference between Flash and Legends, just on on how they deal with cliffhangers, is Flash plays it for serious. It's serious. It plays it for the plot. It's this is earnest. Whereas Legends just gone, screw it, let's just have fun.
See, I'll still complain about this a little bit. I still think this would have been better if they had this scene at the end of the last episode.
No, I agree with that.
Don't sell it as a cliffhanger. Have the moment, then have Rip show up, and then because at the end of this,
That's your cliffhanger
yeah,
there.
because he says, "I've set up the Time Bureau. You are no longer needed. You're retired." And then it cuts to the title. Instead of that, put that at the end of last season and cut to the credits when he says that, and then we can start this season with them all in these stupid jobs and where they are now.
I'll allow it.
Which is glorious, by the way. Even though logically it makes no sense. Well, why is Sarah working at some Beth Bad and Beyond or whatever it was called? Like,
I think that's what it's about. I think they call it shower and stuff.
Yeah, it was bath, shower, and stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, she knows Oliver, who's the mayor of a city. She knows like lots of powerful people. Between Ray and between. I mean, admittedly, he's not that powerful anymore because now he's working at an app company.
But like the guy says, she's been dead twice. Who's going to hire her?
But exactly, Ollie would hire her, and she wouldn't go and be a vigilante with them again. Like, it felt like, why should
she's too proud?
Why is she at this shit job? But that said, everything with her at that shit job was cracking me up, and I'm okay with it.
Oh, her chucking the knives at the just past the guy.
or even when she fantasizes about like just like tackling him,
Stabbing him.
Scorpion style, is jumping up in a head scissor and like
Oh, I love Sarah.
yeah, so that's great. And it's basically just like here's like Mick's in Aruba just drinking beer. He's fine. He's as happy as can be.
Mick's being Mick.
Yeah. You see Ray, he's at an app company because at first you think maybe he's more powerful than it seems because he's like, oh, I've got this idea for this new technology.
The caption, the location caption just says Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, he's in charge, he's doing things, and then this guy's like, no, we are an app company, we do a dating app. You think of an app. If it's not an app, it's not the future. Therefore, it's not important. And I'm like, my God.
Yeah, it's Tinder, but instead of swiping left and right, you swipe up and down.
Yeah,
that's more innovative.
Yeah, well, yeah. Which, by the way, that's not us just like saying, "Oh, they're ripping off Tinder for their their fake Tinder."
That's what Ray says.
That's what Ray says. Yes, that's the plot point, is that it's a rip off of Tinder, which is funny because in a later scene you see like someone else. It's Nate. Nate goes. You think he's going to see Amaya, and it's like the girl turns around, it's someone else, and he's like, "Oh hey," and he looks at his phone, and it's this app, and he's like, "Oh hey," I can't remember what the name was. Charlotte, whatever.
And also, it actually comes up at the end of the episode as well as an actual plot point, not just as a joke.
Exactly. So so what's Nate doing? Nate is being a crime fighter in Central City. Kid Flash has a little cameo, comes and says hi to him. Although, just by the way, these guys that you've just knocked out could be awake, and you both take off your masks and use your real names in front of them. Small thing, but
Yeah, but legends don't give a damn anymore.
Apparently they don't. But Wally should, though.
Wally should, yeah.
But it's nice to have a little cameo like that from one of those shows in one of these moments. It works well. But of course, if I've missed anyone actually before I move on, obviously I noticed that Stein and Jefferson were absent. And obviously Amaya, but Amaya was more of a like she's probably in her own time, whereas those two were kind of more notable. It's like, why are they two not in this?
Yeah.
We get to them, of course, we do get to them, but those were the ones we've seen. And so then Julius Caesar wanders in an Aruba.
I don't know, I just love it.
Julius Caesar wanders into Aruba, and Mick realizes who it is, and he's like, it's a time aberration. And he he doesn't get the right word.
Thing, yeah, because he phoned Sarah, and he's like, I can't remember what he calls it, but not anachronism.
Yeah, not anachronism. And then he says something else. You mean an aberration? He's like, yeah, that. He's like, okay, we need to go. We can go to Rip, and we can be like, yeah, we've done something. We're useful. We can be legends again. So her, Nate, and Ray are like, they go into for some reason the field office for the Time Bureau is hidden in present day Star City. But whatever, they go in. And they're basically treated like crap. There's this new character, Ava, who's like the second in command at the Time Bureau, who I am convinced is going to end up on the ship to keep an eye on them.
Probably. And I don't know what I know the actress from. I haven't looked into it, but I know her from something, and it was bugging me all episode.
She looks like a little bit? She looks like a little bit Melissa Benoist, but if she was a bit bulkier.
No, I see what you're saying. That's not what I was thinking, but yeah. I can see what you're saying.
She's been in stuff. What's she been in? Because I thought she looked familiar as well. I am seeing nothing that I recognise, though. She's got one of those faces, I guess.
Maybe it is just one of those faces.
Yeah, I don't recognise. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else she's been in. So ignore that thought. But yeah, so they treat them like crap. They have them down on their knees and like all the rest of it. Then Rip comes in and sort of deflates the situation. He's like, "I'll talk to them and fine." So then they're in communication with Mick. And it's all going fine. He's got him tied up, but then Julius Caesar makes a run for it. And of course,
hang on. Before that, you've overlooked one of the greatest jokes of the episode.
Oh, by all means.
Where it cuts to this scene, and Mick's there eating a salad, and he looks at him and goes, "Your salad's shit, by the way." I mean, I'm sure they know that Julius Caesar is not why it's named Caesar salad.
Oh, of course not.
But I don't care.
Mick wouldn't know that.
Mick wouldn't know that. Mick would think that, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, I love the bullshit here. Why is he speaking English? Oh, it's aberration time displacement disorder. And then later on, when he goes back to his own people, he's still speaking English to all of his own people, and they're also speaking English. And I'm like, that doesn't explain this.
Honestly, like, more and more, this show is American Doctor Who.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, it kind of has been for a long time. There's been lots of, references, ideas, but more and more, it's like, no, this is just what Doctor Who done in America looks like.
Yeah. It gets to that point, and it's just like, yeah, okay, that's the reason, fine. But Julius Caesar goes running through this crowd of people who are all wearing like togas. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's the word. They're all wearing togas, and he chases them in. And Mick being Mick tackles this frat boy instead, and but he brings them back through because the Time Bureau shop and take them through the portal, and it's just this college student just like, what? Like, my dad can sue you guys.
And then they flash in with the Men in Black thing.
Yes, the Men in Black thing, which is exactly
which
what it is.
I am shocked that no one mentioned. I
Yeah,
really thought they were going to reference it.
Yeah, Nate, I feel like, or Nate or Ray, I feel like should have mentioned a Men in Black joke. But
I feel like they should have looked at and gone, "Hey Rip, you just stole this from Men in Black, yeah?" Rip is like, "Yeah."
So they think Mick's an idiot, and to be fair, he is an idiot, but we know he's telling the truth. But luckily, there was some gold coins that spilled out, and he ended up with one of them. And Nate, of course, being the historian, sees this and goes, "Wait a minute, this is real."
Because Mick tries to use it in the vending machine.
Yeah, classic Mick. But because they all think he's full of it as well. They think, "Oh, why did we trust Mick? This was a bad idea." But then they see it and like, "Well, you didn't believe me?" Mick doing his Mick voice. By the way, I love the way Mick sounds. Like, see when he responds and he's just got that gruff voice and he's just. There's that crazy kind of look in his eyes, but he's kind of on side now. I love his turn to anti-hero. It's just been glorious.
It is, and I wouldn't trade it for anything because he's so much fun.
And the funny thing is I knew as soon as like they stop believing them, like they're going to steal the ship because they show them that they use it as a training exercise. They've got this crew, these students in there, like they're pretending. And the best part of it, of course, is that they're giving them something where it's like, "Oh, we did this. This is one of our missions. We did this in the moon last season." And then it's like, "This is how we did it." And one of the students, the captain of the students yells out, "We should do this," and she suggests the exact thing they did in the episode.
Yeah, use the ship as a shield, and Sarah's like, "Hey, look."
That's what we did. And they go, "Haha, that would be stupid. This is a much better plan." And then they do it a better way.
Just shoot it off course.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, oops." But so they break out of the ship. I love that Gideon is completely cool with them as well. And she's like, "Yeah, let's go. Let's be legends."
Yeah. Oh, why not?
So up until this point, there's been none of the other characters, and then Gideon's like, "Yeah, the ship can make a small jump, but you're going to need to get some mechanical repairs." And it's like, "Oh, okay, that's how we get to Jefferson." I guess it makes sense to a point because Jefferson, he'd go back to his parents or his mother, who he lives with. And Stein would go back to his family, so I guess they're the ones that's more obvious where they go. I guess maybe that's why we didn't have to see them as much. But we see that Lily's pregnant, Stein's daughter. So Stein's quite happy. He's going to be a grandfather. He's quite chuffed, and they're fine. But then the Wave Rider shows up and comes and collects them. And I think it's fascinating that they finally addressed that Stein kidnapped Jefferson,
yes. Or as they accurately put it. He shanghaied him.
He roofied him.
Yes.
He roofied him. He's like, "Hey, I kind of forced you here a couple of years ago, and you want to do this now. We got a time machine. Make sure I'm back for the birth of my grandson or granddaughter. Well,
Yes, because that's never going to go wrong. That's never gone wrong in Doctor Who before, has it?
And of course, we just heard this week that he's leaving the show, at least as a regular, and. It was funny because I'd watched the episode on the news and you hadn't yet. And we were talking about it. And you were kind of assuming, and maybe he will die, but I feel like they're already setting the seeds here. They're planting the seeds that...
They are. And I don't know, it's a cynic in me.
Yeah. And because I kind of agree the daughter's the obvious choice, but if she just has a kid, I feel like it'd be weird for her to just then go, "Hey, I'll go and replace Stein as one half of Firestorm."
Yeah, no. I get you. I don't know. I still feel that's where they'll go with it somehow. I just haven't figured out how yet.
Maybe it'll be her, but it'll be her from 5 years in the future when the kid's already a little bit older.
Oh, that's not a bad shout.
Maybe they'll do that. Because it does seem obvious they'll go with her, but... or maybe they'll just bring in someone else. I don't know. I do think it'll be a female, though, if it isn't her.
Yeah, probably.
Even though it'll probably be her just from it's easier to explain the plot. Oh, she's compatible because,
Yeah.
she's, his daughter. It's fine. DNA, all that jazz.
Yeah, all that scientific technobabble that Legends doesn't give a shit about.
Yeah, genes and stuff. So, so they go offline, and they collect Julius Caesar, of course. Some fun stuff. Also, I like it. It's around here. It's when they actually get Julius Caesar back, and they take him back to his times. Of course, the plot point is that Julius Caesar steals the book, which is basically the history of the Roman Empire. So he knows. All right.
Yeah, he goes, oh, well, let's not get stabbed in the back by these two bastards.
Yeah, first order of business. Let's kill these betrayers.
Yes.
Traitors, I believe is the word. But it's around this point. It's kind of blended in my head together, the sequence of events here. But at one point, there's a fantastic line that sums up the attitude with the show. They basically have a new motto where they say, "Sometimes we screw up for the better."
Yeah.
And I think that is the perfect. It's like, yeah, they're kind of losers, but sometimes they somehow stumble into the victory anyway, and that's kind of okay.
And it's kind of this meta idea as well for the show. It's like, we tried to be earnest in season 1, and it screwed up. Yeah,
didn't work. Yeah,
it's got better for it.
Yeah, accepting its own insanity is fine, and that's why I say it's kind of like a live-action cartoon, because, like, really, Caesar stole that giant hardcover book from Nate's hands without him really. Which, by the way, he was getting a selfie with Caesar. That was what was going on during that scene.
Do you know what my favourite part of that was? He did that after they flashed him with the Men in Black thing. He didn't do that before. He did it after, and it cracked me up.
Oh man, it's stupid, but it knows it's stupid, and it's not trying to hide it.
It's having fun with it, so it's fun.
There's just a lot of things, like the entire plot of this being that they're all retired, and Rip's basically said, "Yeah, you're a bunch of losers, so we don't really need you anymore." And they're determined to get back to that life because they want to be on that ship. They want to be like working and saving people.
One of my favourite lines is, Sarah says to him, "It's like, you just told me that you had nothing left to teach me," and he went, "Yeah," and then 15 seconds later, you did this.
Oh, it's great. So obviously they have to deal with Caesar, and they go in, and like the Time Bureau's all like, we're better at this, we'll solve this immediately. But Ava gets captured, and it quickly. And I like that she's still capable. She still fights and all the rest of it. But like it just proves that okay, the Time Bureau's not as perfect as it thinks it is. Because as Rip points out, and I like this metaphor actually, the Legends are like a chainsaw when you need a scalpel. But every so often you do need the chainsaw for something. Which is why at the end of the episode,
scalpel ain't gonna help bring down a tree.
Exactly. Which is why at the end of the episode it's like, okay, right, you can have the ship, you can be the Legends, and you're sort of in conjunction with us. So it sets up that Arthur Duval isn't a regular anymore, because he's not, and that's okay, because we can just see him every so often.
He has a good role, I think.
Yeah, for whenever we do see him.
I think a concern at the end of season 2 is what's the point in Rip's character now? Because we've got Sarah as the captain, and there was a little bit of, he felt a bit redundant, whereas this sets him up as, no, this is why he's still a part of the show in some capacity.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be there every episode. That's okay. I think we'll see Ava more, like, because she's like, I feel like I say, I think she'll end up on the ship because she'll be like the liaison. She's there to keep an eye on them, make sure they're not.
I can see it
breaking the world, because they set up a lot of things. Like, even Mick when he's like, "Oh, we need to go save the hot agent," like that those kind of lines.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the idea of Mick trying to flirt with this uptight Ava character is probably going to be hilarious. Even better so if like she eventually does kind of like get a crush on him, because it'll be gloriously funny if that happens.
Everything that Mick does is funny.
Yeah. Of course, we should mention Nate and Amaya. Amaya, went back to her own time period, and he's pretending he's okay with it, but he's really not. But when we see her at the end, we see this little teaser scene at the end. Like,
we do the ironic cut as well, because it goes from, I'm sure she's happy in her own time.
Yeah, that's right. The ironic cut.
Cut to military.
Cut to military, and she's got an upgrade, because she not only does she get the power of an animal, she seemingly like Joey always seen those almost like the ghost of the animal get into her.
Yeah.
Now it's like she can control multiple of these ghosts at the same time, because she basically fights off an army with like hippos and rhinos and whatever.
It's cool.
Well, there wasn't a hippo. A hippo was just the first thing that came to my mind, but there was like a rhino and stuff.
Hippo could do some damage.
I think a rhino could do more damage though. I feel like a hippo's big and strong, but it's not aggressive.
Oh, they are.
Compared to a rhino.
You'd be shocked.
Okay, I'm sorry, I've never watched a hippopotamus documentary. Okay, all right,
Clearly, you are just an awful Brit who has not spent enough time watching David Attenborough stuff.
bite me. I did see a great clip of Planet Earth 2 recently, actually.
Is it the lizard running away?
It is, yes.
It's so good. That was so good.
Uh, Impressive. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of snakes. Uh, a lot of goddamn snakes.
Do you know what? I knew it was going to be that because that's the clip that immediately made the rounds everywhere.
And I have I have no interest ever going there now. Like, those islands, the Galapagos Islands, I don't want anything to do with them. Too many snakes.
Way too many snakes.
Not for me.
And
It's fine.
I like snakes, but that was a lot of snakes, and those snakes were terrifying.
Yes, and yeah. Even if the lava tunnels and stuff were cool, I don't know. Where was I? Yes,
Sorry.
yes, Amaya. Yeah. So it also had a bit of an evil vibe. So maybe I think she's still a regular. So I feel like she'll be back on the ship after they deal with her. Like, if they go there and meet her and like.
Yeah, my only question is, do they go there first, or do they kind of do something else, and then they go, okay, we need to go and get her?
I have no idea. I could see it being like a coincidence thing, and like they run into her and like it's kind of entwined, or I can see it being we need her for some specific thing that only she can do.
Or maybe they're just like, God damn it, we need to shut Nate up. He's being a whingy little bitch. Let's go and get her.
It could be that. It could be that. Oh, so actually, I like the scene where Caesar tries to like seduce Sarah to the dark side. He's like, "Hey, you could be my queen. We could conquer the world together."
Can we not overlook Sarah beating the shit out of him on the beach?
I did enjoy that. I also liked that everyone else just sort of stood back and watched. It was almost like she hasn't gotten to fight something in months, so she's getting everything out. Like this is her rage. Just
Yeah. And it also
passion.
did that whole, it's like, hey, think we should help? It's like, nah, she's got it.
That was good. There was also another thing. She's like, because she stole a badge for the Time Bureau, and she's like, "Yeah, you left it in my place the morning after."
Left it. She's like, okay, fine. I took it off.
It's good. Sarah being a horn dog is also something I love about this show.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Actually, if there's not a relationship between Ava and Mick, it'll be Sarah and Ava.
Yeah. Sarah seduces everyone in every time period.
I can
which is
see
awesome.
it. Yeah. Especially, I feel like out of the two as well, I feel like Sarah's the one she'd be most attracted to.
Probably. Yeah.
You know, just the strength,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. So no. Fun
Also,
stuff
just because I want to mention it, the highlight Mick moment of the episode for me,
Oh, go on.
when they're going to steal the ship back, and they go up against the sides to go into the control room, to the bridge, and they're all there going, all right, we're planning, they're going stealthy, and Mick just strolls on in. He's like, come on, out you go.
Yeah, it's because there's a class on. The students are all in the bridge, and it's the hallway behind it, and the rest of them all kind of like they're all up against the wall, backs to the wall, kind of sneaking in, and then Mick just
It's still in his shirt and shorts from Aruba.
Yeah, it's not even shorts. He's got like a big. That's like part of a toga, I guess. Not quite.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't even know what you call it, but it's like a sort of wrap around his legs. It's very un-Mick attire, but he walks in with his heat gun. And he just kind of walks up. He's like, "Right, everyone, time to go. We're taking over the ship." And then they think, "Oh, this is another test. We're going to go up and we're going to deal with an
Just
intruder."
knocks the guy out.
He's like, "Anyone else?" It's glorious.
I love Mick.
Mick's great. Yeah, I can't believe how much I like Mick. Based on season one. If you asked me season one, do I like Mick? I'd be like, nah, he's kind of meh.
It's because he was gone for half the season.
Yeah, but even when he was there, it was super serious. It was all because even in season two, because we were worried that when they started teasing, oh, could he turn back to the dark side? Like they played it in a fun way, and it was kind of heartwarming when he didn't. When he did kind of pick the side of the legends and not time displaced Captain Cold and whoever else. So no, it's good stuff. It was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
I'm excited to see where we go this season. And
I legitimately think this is the most fun episode of TV I've watched in months. I've watched a lot of good TV.
Yeah.
Fun TV.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so I guess that wraps up the 3 episode reviews. But then didn't get any. Did we get a real villain tease in this one about who the villain for the season is? They kind of hinted that someone was behind something, I think, but there wasn't much to it.
Rip made the mention with Ava.
That's right, yeah. They mentioned, I can't remember the name though.
I'm missing
Someone's
it.
coming.
Yeah, with an M.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar who it was though, because I was like, I didn't recognize the name anyway myself. It might be an obscure DC villain, but I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, it was like Malus,
Ah, that sounds kind of right. Yeah, Malice.
but I'm not familiar with the name.
Yeah, so there wasn't a whole lot to go on there, albeit because it was super fun last season with the team of villains. So I'll be curious to
Also,
see.
based on the team of villains last year,
Hmm.
did they ever officially call themselves the Legion of Doom? Because I don't remember them actually using the name, but they made a reference to it in this episode.
No, the heroes did call them that.
Oh yeah, Ray kind of started it, didn't he?
Yeah, no one liked it, but they kind of went along with it because they had nothing better to call them.
Yeah, I remember now. Because they make that joke about, yeah, we're good at dealing with legions.
That's right. That's right. No.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I guess just to wrap up, then we can sort of pick what the best of the three was, like, and just compare how well did they all start the season. Um, I mean, I think it's obvious that both of us are putting the Flash in the last place.
Yeah.
In terms of the rankings. I think the other two are more interesting discussion
I think
because
because they're both good for very different reasons.
yes, I think I would ultimately put Supergirl at number one and Legends at number two. But it's purely down to, okay, I felt a bit more emotion while watching Supergirl, and I always kind of like, if they nail that, I'm always a bit more kind of on that side. But Legends was just nothing but fun. It was kind of like last year. I think Supergirl had some higher highs than Legends did, but Legends was much more consistent.
Legends was certainly the most consistent last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to give it to Legends just because I can't believe I had that much fun with it. I mean, even after season 2, I think this was better than season 2 already.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think I wasn't surprised as much, whereas with Supergirl, I was like, okay, let's see what it does, because, like, because season 2 had its problems, so I was actually kind of impressed with how good it was. I wasn't sure if I was expecting the quality that we got for some of those scenes. It was really good, so...
That makes sense.
But, no, Legends was super fun as well, though. Like, I'm really glad to have these shows back. It fills a void that, all my serious TV that we talk about every week doesn't quite...
I think that's why I like Legends so much, because Supergirl, as fun as it was still like, like you said, it was the emotional, it still felt like the serious stuff. Whereas this was just like, no, I can just switch off and just purely just have some fun.
Yeah, I think... I think because Legends is kind of just throwing away the rule book, though, in terms of we don't have to care about logic, we just make up rules when we need to. I think because of that, it does feel kind of cartoony compared to... Whereas Supergirl, they still feel like real characters to a point.
Yeah.
Which is why it's kind of funny when they cross over with everyone, and it's like, oh yeah, and all of a sudden...
It's going to be very interesting this year.
Yeah, all of a sudden, we've got Mick cracking his jokes like he usually does, and...
I think I'm going to actually have a concern this year in the crossover that the Legends will feel neutered, because they'll have to tone them down, and it's to fit in with everyone else. And I feel like it'll make them stick out as like not as interesting as in their own show, perhaps.
I mean, if that's... It's only two nights. It's only one episode of Legends.
Yeah,
so
if
that ends up being the case, it's kind of a livable problem with. That's it. I'm excited by this crossover because it's not a Crisis first. It's called Crisis on Earth X, but it's it's going to be
a social event.
It's the wedding, yeah. So they're all going to come together for Iris and Barry's wedding, which isn't, a spoiler because they've publicly said that, and that's kind of the same similar kind of origin to it in the comics, but. I like that. I like that they're coming together for a reason just to see each other, rather than, oh, we're just going to get together because the world's ending, kind of vibe.
Yeah, so, I agree.
I like that. I'm looking forward to that. So, no.
Me too.
In terms of like how well they all started their season, I think I think Supergirl probably did it the best in the sense that I feel like it teased what was coming in terms of plot, but also had a good strong opening, whereas Legends was a really strong opening, but didn't really do much to actually tease what the premise of the
I
season
think
was.
Ultimately, though, it's not really going to care about it over the season either.
It
I think
probably
it's
won't.
ultimately going to be just something that's like, okay, well, we're going to have a background plot because we kind of got to.
Yeah, it probably won't, but I'm just in terms of just comparing them in that sense. And then Flash was kind of this weird thing in the middle where it did set up things, but we got the villain at the end, and we got some of these ideas.
I like the status quo more than the episode.
Yeah, it just wasn't as strong as an episode as the other two. Ultimately.
Definitely.
So no. Hopefully see. And there's nothing to say that I won't watch Arrow for next week and talk about it a little bit if I want to.
I mean, my problem is it's the same reason I always watched it for so long, is that when it gets to the crossover and I have to watch an episode of Arrow, my brain hurts that I haven't watched the previous 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, shit, now I've got to watch 7 episodes in a row, and that hurts my soul.
And part of me does wonder, like, I need to know how stupid it got. Like, did it do anything really silly?
Oh, I saw one moment I saw a GIF of there's someone in something going on in the base, and it's at one end you see Curtis and you look in there, and then it cuts round and Diggle charges through where Curtis was, and he's just not there anymore. It's like what is going on? I need to see this to laugh at it again.
Oh god, Arrow going to Arrow. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about Arrow next week if we want to fit it in. We'll see. No promises though. Never promising it.
No.
Never promising it. But yeah, like I said, there's an opportunity that as other things that come up that are DC related, we probably will include them in here as well, rather than maybe do like I think we talked about when Black Lightning starts, we'll probably do an individual Black Lightning episode and just splice it into this, edit it into it, so there's a separate Black Lightning episode 1 video, but then from that point on it'll just be part of this show rather than individual videos for all the different DC shows, because they kind of go well together. It's nice because it counterparts with our comics podcast quite well. Similar name, format, and all the rest of it. But there you go. Okay. Because in the comics podcast, we have the thing at the end where we have, like, obviously we picked the best episode of the week, but like we have the other categories. I'm wondering, like, do we give the loser award? Like, who did the most stupid thing this week? Or
okay.
Like, in terms of characters, like, which character was...
And I guess in the comics we have, the panel of the week. What's the moment of the week?
Moment of the week, yeah, that's a good one. It's...
And I think loser of the week's fine, like this week. But if we include Arrow, it's just going to be Arrow every week.
Oh, no, I don't mean the show.
No, I mean, but it's stupid. Something that does something stupid, it's always going to be Arrow.
I don't know, I feel like Barry and Ray from Legends, I feel like those two...
That's true. Ray has his screw-up count.
They have the fair things. Maybe that one's a bit harder, but I think Moment of the Week's probably quite good. Because, I probably would go with Supergirl again. I'd probably go with I don't actually know. It's either the sub, or it's the confrontation, but they're both good for very different... One's the action...
Yeah, I'd probably go with the conversation.
Yeah, conversation. There's a good argument for that. I think there is.
Yeah, I'd probably give it to that.
Which is interesting from your side of things, because it's kind of almost what we said about the seasons last year, is that Legends is more consistent, so the overall episode for you was more fun, but Supergirl had higher highs.
The better moment, absolutely.
Yeah. So, interesting how those stack up still. Maybe we'll think about this and have a couple of more things at the end.
Reformat for next week.
We pick, yeah. We just kind of dove into this.
I wasn't expecting him to spring this on me at the end here.
I like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. I like to stay sat down.
Tough.
God damn it.
I lead.
Prick.
You follow. Alright, that has been the first television from the Multiverse. So hopefully you enjoyed this format. Any suggestions, if there is any sort of other things you want us to do at the end in terms of comparing them, picking favourites of the week or anything like that, by all means. You can beg us to keep doing Arrow, and we might consider it, but I'm not. This is the problem. You can't get drunk for the Arrow review if it's attached to the others.
No, we'd have to do that separate, wouldn't we?
We would, and it would kind of defeat the purpose of recording it with it, and doing it separate feels like a whole other job. So that's not happening. But the option is there. If we do catch up or we watch next week, we can kind of jump back in with it and just put a little bit at the end about Arrow. We don't have to go into it as in depth. But
just say why did we hate Arrow this week?
But yeah, so let us know what you thought of this week's episodes in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at @mild_fudge for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, support this new podcast, this show, head over to patreon.com/mildfudgetv. You can do that over there, and there's some bonuses and stuff. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. It always helps. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. And I won't say my almost cancelled outro, because it's not almost cancelled.
You gotta have a different one for this.
Yeah.
You could almost use the comics one.
I could.
That would kind of be applicable. Because
Flash is involved, so it would work. But I feel like I don't want to just use that. I feel like I want to... You know what? We'll use one from this week, and I think it's a pretty decent one to go with. Sometimes... Always the phrase, sometimes we screw up for the better.
Screw things up for the better.
We screw things up for the better.